By the time I upload this, Intruder will have released on Steam. If you're here because someone sent this to you while pleading for you to buy the game, you want to get an idea of what the game is, or you just watch all my videos, I know you're not real, then you've come to the right place. This is a video for those of you who are entirely unfamiliar with Intruder. I'll be going over everything you need to know to get started, the premise, why you should play it, and how to do so. There's no use delaying, so let's get going. Intruder is a multiplayer tactical stealth action FPS developed by Superboss Games, primarily inspired by Metal Gear Solid, SWAT, and Deus Ex. One team plays the role of intruders who must infiltrate the enemy base and complete an objective, while the other team plays guards who must try and stop them. Both teams have a wide variety of highly versatile weapons and gadgets to use to achieve their ends. Past that, the means by which the teams operate are entirely up to them. Communication plays a major role in the game, with sophisticated positional voice chat, meaning that normal voice chat can be heard by anyone nearby, be they friend or foe. A hand radio allows teammates to talk to each other from anywhere on the map, but this does not limit the ability of enemies to overhear you. Ah! Still, clever communication is necessary for success. Compared to other FPSs, Intruder gives you very little information directly, so it's entirely up to you and your team to keep track of what's happening. To this end, Intruder isn't really a traditional team-based shooter so much as an immersive sim, not unlike one of its biggest inspirations. Superboss Games has aimed to provide an experience that feels akin to a classic single-player stealth game while embracing the best elements of tactical multiplayer gems, and succeeded greatly in doing so. There is a lot more to it, of course, but that's the gist. If any of this sounded appealing to you, I'd highly recommend going and buying it right now. It's 20 bucks on Steam and absolutely worth it. You can just skip forward a bit, it's fine. Say hi if you see me in the Discord, I want to see how many hop in there because of this video. If you're still not convinced, stick around a little longer, we'll get there. Okay, if you're watching this bit, I'm assuming you want me to explain why you should drop your hard-earned cash on this game you've likely never heard of. It's fine, I wouldn't go throwing money around either. So why should you buy this game that Mr. Internet Man is talking about? What makes this game different from all the other competitive FPSs out there? To explain what I think makes Intruder special, we have to consider a crucial phrase: tactical freedom, the degree to which a game's players are able to approach situations in any way they want. Just about every game ever made has tactical freedom to some degree, but some have more of it than others. While we're on the topic of competitive shooters, I'd say that Counter-Strike is the most recognizable tactical FPS in general, so let's briefly examine that. CS affords you quite a lot of tactical freedom. In any given round, there are 2 bomb sites to choose from and 3 lanes, with plentiful options for how you approach attacking and defending these areas. Looking at the most popular map, Dust 2, terrorists have 3 main routes with several opportunities to rotate between them. That said, what happens in each round is generally the same. T's attempt to attack a bomb site, fight some CTs, plant the bomb, and defend it until it explodes. While I cannot deny that this works well, it's also a rather rigid overall round structure, and it by nature limits some approaches and playstyles. No matter what you do, you're going to get into a firefight at some point, so regardless of how tactically capable you are, you never quite have the freedom to focus entirely on strategy over raw FPS skill. Victory entirely by means other than combat ability is extremely rare. To be clear, this is absolutely fine. Counter-Strike is a great game and absolutely deserves the popularity it has. But I can't shake the feeling that while tactics are vital to success, the amount of tactical freedom one has while playing it is constrained by its design. I bring this up because Intruder, in contrast, never feels this way. Intruder takes quite a different approach to game design. While Counter-Strike and its colleagues allow for many tactical options within their predetermined structures, Intruder gives players free reign over their approach by accommodating any and all playstyles and strategies. An intruder could go out and take on the enemy in a direct firefight, or complete the objective entirely unseen, and a guard could patrol the building and snipe from the roof, or set elaborate traps and decoys to incapacitate intruders without any combat at all. Rounds can go by without a single bullet fired, and as such, tactical ability can entirely compensate for lack of combat skill and vice versa. By allowing its players to approach situations in any way they see fit, Intruder has nearly infinite tactical freedom. Nearly any plan, be it straightforward, elaborate, sneaky, combative, rational, or absurd, can be carried out with enough skill. The maps too allow for far more options. Mountainside, for example, lets intruders infiltrate through about half a dozen entrances, and a complex but refined building design allows tons of flexibility while providing excellent gameplay regardless of the style applied. Vastly unusual and creative strategies are not only allowed thanks to the systemic gameplay with consistent rules across all elements, but condoned and almost required for success. Take, for instance, a clan match I participated in some time ago. My teammate used a cardboard cutout to distract a guard using the mortar on the roof while I ziplined near him. Instead of directly taking him on, I make my way into the security room where I remotely control his mortar, spinning it around to attack him. This drives him off the roof, stopping him from suppressing my teammates and giving me an advantage inside the building. The enemy was effectively defeated without any direct confrontation. I should also quickly add that this makes defending the objective much more engaging than in other games. Since the amount of information you're provided is limited and intruders could play in so many different ways, camping in a key area usually won't cut it. Guards have to stay vigilant and patrol the area to ensure that they maintain control of the situation while communicating well to make sure everyone's on the same page. After all, the game doesn't even tell you who's alive and dead, and those gunshots in the distance could be anything. Of course, the incredible amount of tactical freedom that Intruder allows for is only scratching the surface of its excellent game design, but if this hasn't sold you on the game, I don't know what will. If you aren't interested in it from what I've said, you can probably leave now. Maybe go watch some gameplay before making up your mind either way, I don't know. For those of you who are currently digging through your wallets though, I'm about to guide you through getting into Intruder. We're gonna go over a lot, so pay attention. So, you've opened Intruder for the first time. To get things going, I'd like to direct you towards the tutorial. It'll take you through the basics of movement and some of what's in your arsenal. Other items exist and can be found around the environment of some maps, and you may not start with everything. Some equipment must be procured on site, such as riot shields, binoculars, shotguns, and sniper rifles. I'll be assuming you have a general understanding of what tools are at your disposal, but I'd strongly recommend experimenting with clever uses of them. For example, motion sensors detect all movement, not just that of players, meaning that they can be set off by a door opening or fooled by a grenade. An inventive use of your inventory may be vital to your success, should you choose to play in a more covert manner. Intruder features some unusual movement mechanics, so you may not have quite understood them from the tutorial alone. Energy is mostly drained by sprinting, jumping, crouch walking, and so on. It never runs out, but if it's low, your aim will suffer and your character will start breathing loudly, possibly giving away your position. Balance is determined by your stance and movement. If it's low, enemies will have an easier time ragdolling you using explosives or firearms. Should you be ragdolled, press space to get back up. The time it takes to do so is determined by your energy. Understanding your maps and objectives is essential in Intruder, so let's go over the official offerings. Riverside is the game's most iconic map, set in a two-building laboratory along the side of a river, as the name implies. The Intruder's objective is to infiltrate the building, steal one of the two briefcases, and extract. As with all normal maps, just eliminating the other team is also an option. In the usual version of the map played, one briefcase is found in Lab A, which is on the second floor of Building 2, while the other is in the server room a floor below it. Intruders can extract from the docks or the car parked in front of the other building. Riverside allows many points of entry and methods of defense, making it one of the most flexible in the game. Cliffside is by far Intruder's most action-oriented map. Intruders must hack 3 of the 4 networks by interacting with terminals around the station. Each terminal is assigned a letter denoting which network it's connected to. Hacking progress is shared between terminals on the same network. That said, rounds on this map often end in a massive firefight thanks to the relatively linear design. Stealth is absolutely possible, but more of an emphasis is placed on more direct strategies. As such, Cliffside is an excellent map for those looking for close battles and tactical door breaches. Mountainside, you may be noticing a trend here, is the game's newest official map at the time of writing, and possibly its best. Merging the two objectives from Cliffside and Riverside, intruders can achieve victory by either hacking terminals or stealing a package. The building contains a security camera system, a security room to watch them through, and a spotlight mortar on the roof to effectively take out threats from extremely long ranges and spot enemies making their way along the steep cliffs. Along with other elements such as ziplines, helicopters, and binoculars, these make Mountainside Intruder's most interesting map at all, with dozens of options for players of all sorts. Oceanside is sort of official. Technically it's a custom map, but it was made by the developers and it's played a lot, so I'm just gonna count it as official. Like Riverside, the map only uses the briefcase objective, but is smaller and with an even greater emphasis on moving vertically. The 3-story home has briefcases on its 1st and 3rd floors. The map lacks any defining gimmicks, but is still a good time. And that's it. You should be ready to start playing now. You can work out the rest with time. There's still plenty to be learned about, such as impromptu mortars, playing dead, patrolling, grenade headshots, and custom maps, so get out there and start experimenting. If you have any questions at all, feel free to visit the official Discord server, we're always glad to help out. Hopefully this video proved convincing and or helpful in some way. If you couldn't tell, I really like this game, and the more people who give it a go, the better. If you want to buy Intruder, the link to the store page is in the description. Again, it's $20 and totally worth it. Go do your thing.